Hi, my name is Sam Johnson and I am a voice teacher. Today I will be reacting to and analyzing Jonghyun singing This Woman's Work, which is a Maxwell cover. And if you haven't listened to the Maxwell version, I suggest it because it's really good. This video is brought to you by using your turn signals when you're driving. So already he's kind of using some of the colors that Maxwell uses in the original one with that breathy falsetto. His vibrato is so beautiful. I'm always really impressed when people are able to spend so much time in their falsetto or their head voice that has a little bit of a breathier quality and still be able to do really long lines. It shows that he's got really good breath support. I also really like hearing his accent in the language. I think going to college and singing classical music and having the expectation of sounding as if I were born in Italy or in France or whatever when I'm singing Italian or French kind of set this idea in my head that you need to sound like that, and that's like an important thing. And I think it can be in opera, but in pop music I really like hearing just an individual wherever they're from. It's like Bjork. I love hearing Bjork and having her accent come through. I love hearing his accent come through, and I know the words pretty well, but it still is just like making me listen a little bit differently than I think I normally would if he didn't have his accent. So that's the lowest that I think he's sung so far. I know, but he's still keeping it pretty light. I know. But everything he's doing so far is firmly in like a falsetto-y kind of thing. So I'm curious if he goes into more of a full belty kind of sound, a more full voice sound at any point. But again, the fact that he is not running out of air tells me it's a really controlled falsetto. And for me, falsetto is just, does it sound kind of breathy and is it high? I don't know if that's completely right, but you know, you talk to most normal people about falsetto and they're gonna be like, well, it's high and it's breathy. So you can even get a pretty good mix, but if you make it kind of high and breathy, you can convince people you're singing in falsetto. He is kind of gliding over a bunch of the consonants. Which is a thing that happens a lot when people start singing quite high, is they just focus more on the vowel. And I don't think it's just an accent thing. I think he's just choosing to not give really strong consonants. So I would be curious what would happen if he did ask for a little bit more of the language, and just, you know, being a little bit more clear with the words. Because I can understand it, but it's not just like an accent thing. It's a like active choice to not spend very much time on consonants. Yeah, like that, make it. That little sharp T, like it just tells a different story. And I feel like that's a part of the voice that he is not using as much as he could. That said, like, it's a gorgeous sound. He sounds so good, and his smile is so dreamy. It's actually really hard, I think, to keep it as kind of breathy sounding as he is while for this long. Like, I run out of breath. Right? And it also tends to make my voice shake quite a bit. And I have just a tremor. It's a thing that happens with me, and I think a lot of people shake sometimes, but I do notice some people who don't have as much of a tendency towards shaking as I do, when they use that more breathy sound, it doesn't sound nearly as shaky. That said, for me to be able to sing up there, I would not be able to go quite as breathy, right? So it's just figuring out with your instrument, with your abilities, how far into that are you able to go without wrecking things, because I don't want that doesn't sound very good. But if I go to a we get closer to it. It doesn't have the breath, so maybe we can get some of that breathy sound by just adding on reverb. But how close towards that can I get without it starting to shake? For me, I don't have very much, and so that's just something I've had to learn about my voice, is if I want to go for those breathy sounds, I'm going to be making a lot of trade-offs. So it's cool that he's able to do that. See, when he's doing a crescendo on that, I hear less of the breathiness. It sounds like it's moving closer to the way that I just demonstrated. But it's nice to be able to hear him go back and forth between those colors on the same line. That vowel is very kind of soprano-y, hooty. It didn't go really wide, like. So if we're thinking about like raising the soft palate or lowering the larynx, that is kind of what we need to do to get that color up there. Good. And there's the first time that he really switched back into more of a full voice. Goes up to the F, whatever you need. And it's kind of cool to, hear a really, really big shift. It's obvious that he's playing with two different colors that his voice is able to do, rather than trying to make his whole instrument sound like one instrument. It's like, okay, I'm okay with this bottom part being an electric bass and the top part being an oboe or whatever. Like that little bit of on the give me. Oh, she'll be crying, but I just can't let it go. I'm wondering if there's a little bit of like tongue tension as he's doing that. It doesn't bother me too much, but if like that's the first thing that's kind of popped out to me is like, is that something that is consciously helping him or might be hurting him? Just a little bit of like pulling the tongue back. And a lot of really good singers do that, so it's probably not hurting him. But when you're working with really good singers, you kind of need to ask them those kind of questions and test these assumptions that they might have about their voice. Like, do I need to do it this way every time, or is it just something that I'm doing because it's the, habitual? I also kind of see it. It's almost like the tongue goes towards this place, which does make it, I think, harder to get the words out in a way that is understandable, regardless of accent. That's a really nice little run. I like that. I do really like the falsetto-y kind of quality plus the growl plus the distortion. It's something that I haven't really been able to do in that way before, because it doesn't sound like vocal fry scream to me. It doesn't sound like make it go. It sounds closer to the like kind of thing, but up high, which is just something I don't hear very often. So that's a cool little color.
Just make it go away.
I love that song. That's great. He's a wonderful singer. He didn't really mix too much, right? In that a lot of I look at mix as trying to get as many notes as we can to sound very similar in terms of quality. So it sounds like, you know, a violin just with a really, really big range, rather than at the bottom of the range it sounds like a tuba, and at the top of the range it sounds like a flute. And he's playing with the differences quite a bit more. I do think it would be interesting to hear how he would sound if he, because I know he can mix really well. I wonder what would happen if he wasn't going for quite as stylized of a sound, but then it wouldn't be as much of like a Maxwell cover. It would be more of his own version of it, where this really does sound like it's trying to maintain a lot of the Maxwell sensibilities. He's awesome. I stan. Go listen to Kate Bush. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below if you want to learn how to sing a little bit better or maybe a little worse, but you're just, you know, you're really scared to tell everyone, hey, I really want to be a worse singer. Come to me and we'll figure it out, you know? I'll work with whatever you want to do. If it's becoming worse and you're like, you know, Jonghyun, and you're like, I really wish I was a worse singer, I think I could work with that. I don't know why you'd want to, but I'm willing to try. Have a great day.